Lovebird is not the first thing you're going to think of. I mean, it's not one of his more classic albums, but it's something worth a listen if you just want the insight into how the OGs had to evolve as the 50s became the 60s, then the 60s became the 70s, and then the 70s became the 80s. And if the OGs were fortunate enough, the 80s became the 90s. What's going on, everybody? You're right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your boy Chris Stevens. Y'all probably thought I was going to start falling off after I started a new job. No, we still got a lot of great music to talk about, a lot of great things coming on this channel. Glad to have you guys along for the ride as always. So today, well, it's Thursday. Your time you'll be checking this out. It'll be Throwback Thursday, and of course I'll be at work, but had to put this one on for you guys. So we talked about Places and Spaces by Donald Byrd during Black Music Month, and of course in 1975-76, that was one of the big jazz fusion albums of the day, and it's still one of the top ones of all time. But this was near the end of Donald Byrd's tenure at Blue Note Records. He started out at Blue Note in the mid to late 50s, and by 1978, he had moved on to Elektra Asylum Records, which of course his parent company was Warner Brothers. So he moved on to Warner Brothers basically. So by the time 1981 comes around, you got to remember, 81 is when we are in the middle of this reimagining of Black music. When you have a new sound like More Bounce to the Ounce like Zap, which is tearing up the charts. You've got Heartbeat by Tana Gardner. You've got all these little underground dance cuts and this new thing called hip hop now, with Treacherous 3, After the Party, all of that. 81 was a big year for music. Of course, it was a big year because I was born in 81. And we're going to talk about an album by Donald Byrd that came out during the month I was born, September 1981. So as I mentioned, did you know, you may not have known this, but Donald Byrd actually did an album with, not himself, of course he did an album with himself, but Black Moses. That's right, Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes was in a very interesting stage of his life, fighting through bankruptcy. Stax Records had gone under, and he was still very heavy in the music scene by the turn of the 1980s. And he was working out of a studio in Atlanta called Master Sound. So Isaac Hayes and Donald Byrd got together and cooked up something called Lovebird. It's of course credited to Donald Byrd and the 125th Street NYC. And it came out in September of 1981 on Elektra Asylum. Now, the big record from this song, of course, was Love Has Come Around. It went to number 13 on the R&B charts. That is Donald Byrd's highest charting single. Think about that. We talking about everything he did with the Mizell Brothers, Blackbird. We're talking about everything. I mean, of course, back in the days when jazz was its own separate entity, of course, he ranked high on the jazz charts, but the R&B or Black Soul charts, as it were, at that particular point in time, were everybody's big aim. And Donald Byrd was 40-something years old. No, he was 50, in fact, because Donald Byrd was born in 1930. So 51 years old, he finally reaches the top 20 on the R&B charts, and it is Love Has Come Around. Like there's no trumpet solo on this, by the way. Like you don't get the full Donald Byrd experience with the trumpet. Like this is absolutely a collaborative effort. There's Isaac Hayes' Hot Butter Soul Trio in the background, doing the background vocals and all of that. You have Aaron Mills from Cameo, who played bass on this and co-wrote another song, which is my absolute favorite from this album. We'll talk about in a minute. And you've got this really funky, upbeat sort of, stuttering drum beat, and has come around, feels so good today. And for the fall of 81, winter of 81, 82, it sounds right in line with the times. I mean, this album may sound a little derivative if you're like a hardcore Donald Byrd fan. Like I know Places and Spaces and Blackbird and all of that, have a different place in people's hearts. And Lovebird really didn't do that well outside of Love Has Come Around, but everybody changes. Everybody has a right to experiment and do different things. And if you look at Wikipedia, this album is considered jazz, New York house, and disco. Now, New York house, as somebody who is still learning the ins and outs of music research and different things, I learned that is also known as garage house because, of course, Larry Levan and Paradise Garage. There you go. So Love Has Come Around was probably one of the big records at the Paradise Garage in 81, 82. So the rest of this album, The song that was written by Aaron Mills, who of course played bass for Cameo, a guitarist William Duckett, Isaac Hayes himself, and a songwriter named Andrew Stevens, no relation. Start side B, and it's called "I Love Your Love." And this is one of those songs that, if you were like, if you had skipped over Lovebird, you kind of missed the gem here. Like, I, I love you, love. It's a really really fun record for for what it was. I mean, was it gonna usurp the Rising of the Gap Band? No. Was it gonna outdo Electro as it was done by Zap and the oncoming D Train and all of that stuff? No. But it's still a very nice record. And it's a record, where the title really speaks for itself. Like, this is a song about, really loving somebody. I mean, most of the songs on this album have love in the title. There's I Feel Like Loving You Today, which is pretty sweet. There's a very interesting cover of Cole Porter's Love for Sale. Now, you big band jazz heads probably have never listened to the Donald Byrd version of Love for Sale. So I'm warning you now. Go into it with an open mind, open heart, and open ears. If you're expecting a traditional version of Love for Sale, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But if you're looking to hear it from a different interpretation, you might come away surprised. I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, it's like I said, it's not my favorite song on the album. I Love Your Love is my favorite song on the album. But Butterfly, oh my God, Butterfly is a really good song too, because that song changes different keys and, there's different instrumental breaks within it. There's a really nice Donald Byrd trumpet solo in this one. So, I mean, he took a back seat on a lot of Lovebird, but Donald Byrd's trumpet is still, the pimp hand on the trumpet is still very strong on this album. I Feel Like Loving You Today has one of those real nice instrumental breaks where Donald Byrd's trumpet gets to flex a little bit. I mean, there's also a song called, Fallen, which closes out the album. It's 3 minutes long. It's like this really sort of, saccharine sort of, song about falling for somebody, all their characteristics and different things of that nature. This album is only 7 songs long, and it lasts about anywhere between, I want to say, 40 and 45 minutes. So you got an hour, go listen to Lovebird. As I said before, it's not the first thing you're going to listen to if you want to get hip to Donald Byrd. Don't do that to yourself if you've never listened to Donald Byrd. You need to probably go back to the 60s to get up on Donald Byrd. But if you want to start with Places and Spaces, you can't go wrong with Places and Spaces. You can't go wrong with Blackbird either. But Lovebird, nah, you're not going to start with Lovebird. You got to work up to Lovebird so you can understand how this amazing jazz trumpeter who started off with Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers ended up becoming a virtuoso to himself. He founded the Blackbirds because when he was teaching at Howard University, remember, I had Keith Kilgo from the Blackbirds on this show. If you have not watched that episode where I interviewed him, you should. So, you get a chance. I mean, you got to sequentially. There are a lot of artists that you have to listen to sequentially to find out how their sound has changed over time. And Donald Byrd is one of those ones, from that bebop sound to eventual jazz fusion to what is now, this album is considered garage house. I mean, that's just how the music industry changed. When you think about Donald Byrd starting out on his own in the late 50s on a Blue Note Records, you didn't have all of these different subgenres. I mean, you had what people called the blues, boogie woogie music, rock and roll, spirituals. About it. By the time you get to 80, 81-ish, you got funk, you got what's left of disco, even though it just became electro, boogie, house, and post-disco and all of that. I mean, it's the same. I mean, disco, like Marcus Chapman, clued me in on this. Disco just changed names. That's pretty much what you get with that early 80s infusion of new sounds in black music and R&B and what is the burgeoning hip-hop movement, at this point in time. So Donald Byrd was just, he was trying to get on with the times. I mean, who doesn't want to still have a successful recording career after, nearly a quarter of a century or over a quarter of a century? So I don't think there was anything wrong with, trying something new. Like I said, Lovebird is not the first thing you're going to think of. I mean, it's not one of his more classic albums, but it's something worth a listen if you just want the insight into how the OGs had to evolve as the 50s became the 60s, then the 60s became the 70s, and then the 70s became the 80s. And if the OGs were fortunate enough, the 80s became the 90s. So once again, Lovebird by Donald Byrd, produced by Isaac Hayes. Worth a listen. Come back. Let me know what you think. But if you have heard Love Bird, let's talk about it. That's what we do here in the comments. So that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. Thank you, wonderful people, for tuning in. As always, contact information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell to be notified of all new videos that drop on this channel. Don't forget to like and comment on these videos because, as you know by now, your boy talks back in the comments. Yes, I am doing a Friday live show. I'm actually getting off at 11:30 a.m. on Friday. So I'll probably be on around 1 or 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. I will have more information for you guys as Thursday progresses. So just be on the lookout. Yes, we will be still doing a live show on Fridays. It could be earlier some weeks. It could be later some weeks. It all depends on how my work schedule goes. We'll talk more about that later. But thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove, or may the groove find you.